3/4 of a cup is approximately 6 ounces. Pour 1 cup of white granulated sugar into a bowl and melt 3/4 of a cup of shortening on medium-low heat on the stove. Add 1 large egg and 1/4 of a cup of any type of molasses. Pour in your melted shortening. Before your egg cooks, you better grab your blender or a... Once you get done mixing your wet ingredients, preheat your oven to 350 degrees and mix the dry ingredients. The dry ingredients include 2 teaspoons of baking soda, 2 cups of white flour, a 1/2 teaspoon of ground cloves, 1/2 teaspoon of ground ginger, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. Mix these together and then combine them with the wet ingredients. Okay, while your oven's preheating to 375, you can see I mixed all the ingredients together. So we're going to add a little at a time with the blender with the wet ingredients. So just pour about half in there and then mix it in. I used the blender to finish blending this. I didn't need to use my hands or a spoon for this batch, but sometimes I do. This recipe changes depending on your climate and your altitude, so it's going to taste different depending on where you live, and you may have to adjust a few things like the flour. So now we're going to roll it into balls and roll it in the sugar and put it on a baking sheet. So take some of the cookie dough and roll it into a ball, whatever size cookie you think you want. This is a pretty good size ball because I like large cookies, but then you just roll it in the sugar. Make sure you cover the whole cookie. And it has enough oil in it, you don't need to grease the pan. Put them down on the pan here. Then we're going to take a fork and press down just to make a design and flatten it out a little bit. So press down the cookies with a fork to make this design and then put them in the oven at 375 for about 10 minutes. So as soon as you take the cookies out of the oven, just let them sit on the cookie sheet for about 30 seconds to 45 seconds. Then take them off with a spatula and let them cool on a plate or a cooling rack. And then put them in a cookie jar or cover them with saran wrap so they don't get hard and crunchy and they'll stay fresh. And this recipe makes approximately 2 dozen large molasses sugar cookies.